Alright. Looking at everything right now, just making sure everything is good to go here for Friday Night Fights. And that appears to be the case. We're only sitting at about 65 people today for this PvP scenario, so that's going to be about, 30v30. So a little understrength platoon on both sides. And we're going to try to cover all 3 rounds today. Nonetheless, I'm just trying to map everything else out, and it looks like we're good to go. I'm going to quickly put the prediction up, and we will get started with the commentary. Thank you for joining me for this stream, and I hope your day is going a-okay. Alright, prediction is live, and let's get started with the scenario here. So this is going to be an Op4 versus Blue 4 style scenario here. Op4 have to take 2 Blue 4 terminals and eliminate Blue 4 ground command. There's multiple yellow zones where if the commander stays in that zone, their location won't be broadcasted live to the enemy. Looks like Blue 4 start zones appear to be this entire area, and then we have this entire mapped out area for Blue 4 to also bring their forces in, and then we also have that area right there. Op 4 meanwhile starting both on the MSR, and then they also have some forces able to spawn at a dock where multiple RHIBs are waiting for them. Not a bad call here. Otherwise, quick note on FNF, ever since a few weeks ago, they have redone their ballistic settings. So now it's a lot easier to kill each other in this scenario without taking attrition, and therefore the players, if they're doing really well, can continue to do really well and rack up some nice multi-kills. Nonetheless, let's go ahead and go over our mission details here. So Blue 4 have to defend 2 terminal sites, and one of them is a little bit different. That is a smaller texture there. We'll take a look at it later. And then they have to defend a scientist named Otto Flick, who we'll see is playing that role later. Nonetheless, Op 4 is supposed to be eliminating all those personnel, but again, looks like that stuff is still glitched. Otherwise, briefing here, it is 1,000 meters render distance, so 1 kilometer. Fortify points are only 50 for the defenders because this is a reduced Fortify build for Blue 4. Fortify color for anything is going to be green, and then there's a 65-minute timer. Notes for this scenario, the HVT Otto Flick has his own play zone, which is considerably smaller than everyone else's. It covers his starting location and the airport grounds. Once the westerly terminal at Flick's office is completed, it will trigger a large explosion. It is recommended to be clear of the entire compound when that happens. Background here. August 2033, in the global conflict and the inevitable war, Kremlin spies have identified a great threat to their compound, or their continued ability to wage war. An in-development EMP device capable of rendering targeted electronic systems inactive over a large distance. In spite of the huge risk involved, the Russian Union sent an elite company of Spetsnaz infantry Op 4 into the NATO heartland of Germany. Their mission to eliminate Dr. Otto Flick, the mastermind behind the device, destroy his office and laboratories, and sabotage the servers in his home, which is confirmed to contain a copy of his entire body of work pertaining to the EMP. Alerted to the attack, Bundeva, I always butcher that, Bundeva troops, Blue 4, so German forces on Blue 4 side, have swept in to protect Flick's properties, and to escort him to a nearby airport for extraction. If they fail, they'll lose a vital advantage in the war. So Forever War, the Inevitable War is a concept. I forget who the mission dev is, but he's been running missions out of this campaign for a while. Otherwise, I don't think there's anything specific in the log, no performance tweaks, that's fine. Loadouts are Op 4 Spetsnaz in the 2010 era, so we've got Alton helmets, AK-74s with NPZ railing, GP-25s for the team leaders, SVDs for the marksmen, RPKs for the light machine gunners, light anti-tank get an RPG with 2 warheads, and medium machine gunners in Delta get the PKP. They have 8 transport Tiger gases and 5 RHIBs. Blue 4, meanwhile, are just your German Bundeswehr kits with G36s. I believe that is a 320 system on the G36 for their grenade launcher. Mark 211s for their marksman rifle, and then mini-me's. It looks like no Delta medium machine gunners, so they don't have a Delta group at all. So it's just light machine gunners get the mini-me there, and then AT4 is for the light anti-tank. Otherwise, looking at the groups here, Fonz is going to be the ground commander. I'm going to see if there's a custom. All right, so Banks is going to be the scientist, because clearly that's, you know, a scientist get there, but he's also given a gun. But otherwise, Fonz being the ground commander, Banks being the VIP, T being a 2IC, Marucho being a medic, and Little Banks being, I guess, just an add-on for the company group. Otherwise, Alpha being led by Henry with Patriot Duitson, Sancho Tom, Salt, and SL Dream. Looks like they merged other groups of Alpha into Alpha Actual there. Bravo 1 has Duggle with Ring and Greg. Charlie has Aquasino and Danziger. We've got Maxic, Mike, McBain, and Deadpool under Charlie 1, and then Lolo, Seismo, and Korvac under Charlie 2. Otherwise, Cats being the leader for Op4 here. Again, only 65 players, not that much to work with here. Ash being the Alpha squad leader with Kazag as his marksman and Major Khan as the medic. Kabuki Face, Tackleberry, Eric, Hiru, Wheaton, and Swola being under Alpha 1. Alpha 2 has Waldo and Vagrant. Bravo has, it looks like Bravo 1 and Bravo Actual merged together, so it's Smil with Depso, Kremet, Cheeseburger, Max, Lewis, and Horno. Bravo 2 has Flying Fin and Naps. Nemesis leading Charlie with Cullis, Nekomata, Eander, Malin, and Dobbs. And then Delta has all 4 medium machine gunners here with France Gates, Harrington, and Fairchild all together. Marcetic is an assistant, and then Delta 2 has Michael on his own, who is another assistant. Otherwise, Shadow Pharaonics, thank you for the 30-month resub at tier 2, buddy. Hope you keep enjoying the operations. Hope you get a nice kick out of this scenario. But otherwise, let's go ahead and look at Blue 4's objectives here. So we have a VIP right there. That needs to be eliminated for Op4 to win. We have this terminal right here that needs to be hacked. And then we also have in this private estate, this is the server that Op4 also needs to hack tied to this little laptop setup. Otherwise, the play zone of the scientist starts right here. And it looks like he just has to run out of the sector into this airfield here, and then his protected area is at this airport building. Interesting. And we also have a side terminal over here. There is a side room in this section that they can also stash him in. And then we have the Vanilla Altus Airport Terminal also in that little zone. So remember, the yellow zones indicate where the VIP can be. I don't know why we have a yellow zone into here too. Maybe that was changed last minute. But the VIP is going to be visible as he runs into the airfield area and then hides in that zone. He can't leave this border, otherwise I believe he is auto-killed. Regardless, we have a lot of towed and pushed out aircraft on this strip. We also have this really funny, nice perimeter wall right here. But I believe this airfield is going to be the site of where the main fighting is going to be, unless Blue 4 decides to just hold out on one single objective. They could very well just hold on the terminal objective and try to stop Op4 from coming down on this highway here. Blue 4 don't have any vehicles, so they can't mount any obvious counterattacks, so they're just going to have to wait and see how Op4 deploys on them. Well, this is a pretty nice AO here. You've got some little areas here to make underground portions with teleport scripts. You got this nice perimeter wall out here. That is quite nice. But beyond that, I mean, Op4 with those 3 objectives are going to have to hit things one at a time, and we'll just have to see how things go in that regard. Otherwise, for FNF today, I do want to try to cover all 3 rounds. There won't be any DayZ tonight because I'll be unavailable due to some IRL stuff. But I will try to come back to do some mission dev after I am free from that. Maybe we'll have some DayZ. I think Kremet's launching himself. That's kind of funny. Maybe we'll have some DayZ over the weekend, but for now, I'm just trying to play catch-up because we've had 2 weeks of ops on and off because of various reasons, from just being jam-packed on my schedule to Arma updating and having to push everything back and just blah. Otherwise, I hope you're all doing a-okay. I will admit I'm a little tipsy right now. I was racking some homebrew, and well, I mean, the alcohol that you leave behind on that's full of the yeast, I mean, it's still alcohol and it's still quite delicious, so I didn't want to waste it. So I drank about a cup of some stuff that was over 50% or 15% ABV, you know, don't worry about it. I'm fine. Nonetheless, going over the Op4 options here, I don't think anyone's going to take the boats. They're just going to take the gases in. They can either try to divert off on the left here and then try to flank in and come from this road right here and then push in. They can also come up from these MSRs. Gonna be honest, I don't think it really matters which route they take in. They're going to have to basically get right into the edge of this nice little town right here and then try to move in on where the terminals are. If they dismount too early, they're going to leave themselves open to being attacked. I think dismounting around this underbridge area is quite nice, but when you judge it from the map view, you're kind of left to wonder, you know, maybe Blue 4 would push down and fortify this area, so you might want to do a dismount back here and then walk yourselves up, but that's a lot of open ground to potentially work with. But you do have these nice little hilltops to then, you know, take over and then use to springboard your forces up. For a full 50-minute round, I guess the commander is going to have to be watching the map to see if they decide to pull the VIP out and move them to that airfield, and if they don't see it, then they can focus on these two terminals. If they do see it, maybe we'll see Op4 potentially split off some of its forces to try to intercept the scientist moving up north, because at least Blue 4, their opponent, would be splitting off forces to handle that. Though this is quite interesting to see. They've broken a window right here to make a travelable ramp so they can come up to this area. Normally this building, you're banned from accessing the rooftop because it's way too easy to camp this area. And you can actually see that they've blocked it off right here to prevent that. But they're still building a ramp up to this location. And I don't know if that's allowed or not. No drunk wee-woo? But it's more fun to be drunk. Yeah, I'm excited for the new DLC as well. We'll see if we can get a server up with it, but it just depends on Razor if he wants to make something with that.
Something like that last week round?
Oh, we'll see, Rotspurt. Last week had a great round, and then it had a really shitty round, so maybe it'll be good, maybe it won't. The difference between, I'd say, the really bad round last week was, it looks like they're breaking it down. Maybe they were just told they aren't allowed to do that, but there's no bottleneck onto this AO. There's many different routes that Op4 could take in, either trying to get in the low ground down here, or coming around and trying to use this forest area to get up there. So hopefully it won't be like that really bad round last week, but you never know. Just depends on how the players are going to play things out, you know? Oh, I just realized I forgot to shoot the email over to my server provider about the performance of the server today. I'll do that after, because we still have a good chunk of time. Oh well. Clever rule circumvention, yeah. It's up to the mission devs to think about that stuff, though, because usually the mission devs are also playing on the ground, so I think that was just a lack of foresight by Cats, but I also heard from other members of Scandi Recon that he got absolutely reamed over that mission. Frost might actually come back and make a Frostline server. Interesting. I'll consider it. However, if he does, one, I wouldn't mind advertising it in my community, but two, I'd like to make sure it's set up for what we do right now about, you know, having the spawn menu and whatnot. What was so bad about it? Basically, part-time, they left a big chunk of area. It was on Eulakia, but they left a big chunk of play area that basically allowed for the defenders to take everything with an assassinate target and then move it to an area that wasn't supposed to be used. And then it created this massive bottleneck that Op4 had to move through, and they couldn't because it was a massive bottleneck, and they just got slaughtered. And then we ended early because the only people that made it through were eventually intercepted and killed. Yeah, let's see how things go. It sucks, I agree, but, you know, that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. Another minute and a half before the round officially begins. I honestly think Op4 is just going to push up somewhere, dismount, hopefully hit the objectives one at a time. Maybe we'll see some bypassing, and then they'll try to go for the route, but we'll just have to see how things go. I'm not even sure Dreams is playing. Oh, there goes Malin checking if his Zeus works. I could be wrong, but I could have sworn I did not read Dream's name when I was going through the list. He might not be here today. And he didn't DM me about if I would be covering FNF tonight, which is an indicator that he usually isn't going to be on himself, so oh well. I'm in the group I'm looking at. Wow, yeah, no, you're right. I'm just absolutely blind. Good God. I can't win. Alright, yeah, we see Op 4 ready to go on their side. They're clearly all mounted up. The way they're in separate roads here and they're not lining up on that road shows me that... Oh, I mean, based off the angle, I honestly can't say. Maybe some of them are gonna immediately go on this side road and then try to go around, but, I mean, we'll know in about a few moments. There we go. Well, that didn't take long, did it? So I think the admin's about to respawn the both of them. Maybe they'll get into that gas. That's going to slightly slow down Op 4, but I don't think it's going to really matter that much on the size of the AO. Hold up, we have another one! It's amazing that people cannot drive in this game. Hold up. All right, cook-off sound from that vehicle. They all just got healed. Oh, ain't that something? What happened? The cars basically smacked into each other and caused two to cook off in two separate instances. Because people don't know how to freaking drive. Or do spacing. Unpopular opinion, though, if we just heal them, then they never learn, and then they think it's okay to do it again. So you got Cats back here. He's trying to work on them, but they're already dead because now with the Ace update, you can drag bodies around. The new meta, by the way, is if you drag a body and it leaves the gun behind, then you know they're dead. If it keeps the gun with them when you drag them, then you know they're alive. Now, if you wanted to get rid of that meta, I think there's an ability for you to set the gun to be droppable when you get knocked unconscious, so you can just tune that and it'll be fine. So Kiri's come over, he's reviving people. We had another person die. That's Stackleberry in here. I assume he's gonna get revived, but they're working on him thinking he's alive. And then you got some shots coming out from over here because I think they're... Interesting. That was not the play I was expecting, but alright, not bad. And then you can work through the industrial zone or get on the northern side in the forest, cut off any of the VIPs that are moving across that side. Yeah. No, that works out. Blue 4 putting some people over here, too. I don't necessarily agree with that call because there's not a lot of good high-rise points from over here, but I can see what they're going for. They're kind of exploring their terrain to see what they can do and what they can't do. Otherwise, Blue 4, they've set up this defensive zone right here to kind of bottle in Op 4 if they did this obvious dismount area here, and that would give them really great eyes to just pummel anything in the open. Good call on Blue 4 for that, but Op 4 really thinking outside of the box to drive all the way around. They're going to check that airport spawn first, and then they're going to come from north to south knowing that the VIP is in that area. Blue 4 with this massive defensive line, not able to cover the entire area here, have missed Op 4's ability to... Not ability, but, you know, their pathing of this plan. And now Blue 4 in a pretty bad spot because a majority of their defenders are completely out of position. Not bad. Not bad at all. Hey, right out part-time. That sounds great. Hope the view is nice. I mean, District 41 is also a bit more of a colorful map with the various greens and the reds and whatnot. Though I will admit that's also because I have a custom shader on. So it helps pronounce the colors a bit more. Whose body was that? like they've gotten everyone respawned but Tackleberry. So I'm curious here. Op4 is going to check that area. We probably won't hear any gunshots. They're going to say it's clear, and then they literally just have to hit these 2 areas from behind. And look at Blue 4. They're just so farly deployed here. And I'm trying to figure out this area here in the sense of, you know, why do we have a few guys over here if, you know, this is just a massive bottleneck into this zone? There's not really any way to come onto this side. Like, unless they come over here and then they swim across, but they don't have any amphibious vehicles, so what's the likelihood of that, you know? Looks like they're getting Tackleberry respawned as well. Op4 have done a dismount in this industrial area. They're going to use that to get right on top of this zone over here. I'm gonna be honest, Blue 4's in a pretty bad position right now. The sooner Blue 4 realizes that the enemy is going to be coming from the opposite angle, the more time they'll have to potentially redeploy or rush their forces over, but I don't know if that's enough. And then you got this Gaz kind of driving right up because they never saw the symbol of the guy running out. So they're just going to drive back in, whereas these guys are going to stay dismounted and try to be a bit more cautious, but there's no point. If they didn't see on the map that he moved down this zone because it would take him out of a yellow area, in which case his position will be broadcasted to Op4, they know that he's staying in here. So now Op4, all they need to do is just dismount on the northern side and then push in through this forested area, which, mind you, you can't even tell it's a forested area by normal means. Like, scrolling out, you can see that that's partially forested. But here, I mean, unless you know to specifically look for these little green dots, this is a boon for Op4 to know that now they've got, you know, some cover and concealment to work with when they advance. Suffice to say, though, this game's going to have a little bit of waiting around. We do have some Blue 4 moving over to check on these positions. The fact that triple timing shows me they don't think Op4's in here, otherwise they'd be a bit more cautious. But Salt might find them in a moment. He's just running out of stamina. Yeah, he's not even putting his gun down, so he's super confident that this is a secure position because he wants to run right up here instead. And he's about to have Op4 come right on his butt. And the whole AO is about to kick off because of that. So these guys are going to sweep that yellow zone just to be safe. Salt goes up. He realizes, this is a problem. If I was in Salt's shoes, I would slowly back away and not engage, but he decides to go for it. Gets the headshot. And immediately pulls away. Gates finds the other 2. Michael finds Salt there, takes him out. Gates, I think, killed one of the other 2 Blue 4 members, and now you're about to have a massive scrambling of the line as they fight for this little side area here. And I'm going to be honest, with it being only, you know, 30 to 35, every infantry member is going to count in this AO. So yeah, one of the marksmen turning around and trying to engage what they can here. I don't know what they're specifically shooting at, but maybe they think they see something in that angle. T's now trying to come around. Equipped with an assault rifle. Op4 maneuvering some more people down from the south. I think they're going to go for that terminal objective and then come in on the different sides. This is going to create a pincer attack on that angle. T manages to win that fight, but he's hurt.
First round, Sag.
Lolo, I'm going to be honest, you ended up at least a watch right on time. But yeah, if you want to actually play, then I'm sure you'll get in for round 2 and 3, buddy. But thanks for the 26-month resub. Hope you keep enjoying the operations, and I hope you get a nice kick out of this scenario. Bait's taking fire. T trying to do some medical. Op4 trying to look in his direction, but they don't know where he specifically is. Waldo double tapping some bodies. GL's going out. That might be Hunt IR rounds coming up as well. Op4 driving a vehicle in the middle of where Blue 4 is. They take fire. Gazak tries to, and it's not Gazak, it's his gunner, tries to immediately open up with a GL. They turn in. They need to now push away, but they're exposing themselves a little bit. See the bullets reflecting off of that vehicle. I guess Tackleberry, oh no, he died against T. That's kind of funny. Funny enough, T is getting blue on blue. Now Waddle's going to go for the finishing shot. Thankfully, Dream doesn't know how to aim. I think Waddle gets the kill last second. Don't you love it when you run off on your own and then you start getting shot at by your own friendlies? It sucks. Blue 4 trying to redeploy their forces, but Op 4 have this massive group coming from the north. This group goes over, hits the terminal. These guys start moving on the other site. I mean, Blue 4 still have a lot of forces out of position. I think this is an early Op 4 victory, in all honesty. Dream gets shot by Vagrant. Swola trying to open up on some other players down here. He does have that RPK, so a 45-round magazine to work with. He just can't seem to line up the shot. Massimo Lolo Intellectual. Oh, God, Lolo, what did you rename yourself as? Now we just see some blind suppression from Swola's side. Toms gets knocked out by either a friendly grenade or a GL. It's hard to say. Op 4 dismounting right here. They can bottleneck those for Blue 4. Otherwise, this Op 4 group, they got Blue 4 right next to him. There's a little bit of a fence in the way, but if Chris notices, he could open up with a frag. He instead opens with bullets and immediately gets bitch slapped for that. That's why you always open up with a frag. Malin running right up to where McBain is. McBain gets his head blown off. He gets shot so hard he got stuck in the air there. Malin refusing to double tap. That might bite him in the ass later. Got these three Op 4 now running around. They're trying, oh no, it's Blue 4 trying to move the VIP. He immediately takes fire as his location is now broadcasted on the map. Cat's trying to get into a 1v1 with Fonz. Is unable to. VIP in the open. Grenade gets thrown over. Cats wins that firefight. Grenade goes a little higher up. Nemesis looking around. Banks utilizing that smoke grenade. VIP hiding in the smoke. Cats is trying to throw a grenade up to him. Another grenade goes right up to his position. Banks trying to run back. Gets Nemesis. Malin's going to run up seeking retribution. Gets Banks. The VIP is dead. So a big line of Op 4 on the northern side coming in. Blue 4, meanwhile, intermingled with Op 4 on the side. There is Auto Flick. The scientist is dead. Vagrant in a standoff with Toms here. Funny enough, I can't tell if that Op 4 player is shooting at Toms or at Vagrant. From here, we're about to see NASA get the server terminal over here. He is just slowly breaching because he's on his own. There is an explosive set on that server as well. So, I'm not sure if that charges enough to bring the building down on its own, but NASA's going to have to be very quick about taking that out. Meanwhile, Korvac and Lolo pushing to Nekomata and Ayander's position. We also have a third Op 4 there that's dead, as Nekomata is trying his best to hold. Op 4 coming up from a different angle here, might be able to assist. Ayander wakes back up. Nekomata goes low, avoids that explosion. That explosion actually kills Ayander. Terminal is hacked. Explosive charge goes down, but NASA was waiting on the other side, so that charge was ineffective. We do have some Blue 4 on the outside that might try to run in, but NASA's going to gun him down because it's not close enough for them to actually get to the terminal site. So NASA could very well sacrifice himself to hold that objective. Meanwhile, Blue 4 trying to flank around over here. Those 4 came around. We still have Toms in the middle. Op 4 sending that 4 on the side now up north. So Blue 4, despite being in various different areas, they're clearly spread a bit too thin. NASA, he's going to have to be ready to rush out of there because otherwise that explosion might kill him. And you got Lolo checking the bodies of those two Op4 to see if they are indeed dead. And there's the server, so that one I think is going to be the one that goes off without a hitch. NASA now running. He's going to try to hold the corner. Let's see how big this explosion is. That was quite a big one. Op4 and Blue4 still fighting over this little resort area here. That is a good question to see who planned it. Could have been McBain. It could have been someone else with an explosive firing device, a clacker, and they pass it to somebody else, but either way, it doesn't matter. Malin is going to get a straight shot into the final terminal site. Blue4 have a garrison right here, but it's not going to be looking in his direction. Op4 could be in a region to score here at the 15-minute mark. Probably going to be another 5 minutes before they get in. You see all these fortifications made on this building, but no return fire on Cats or Malin. They're going to be able to run in. That's going to immediately trigger this 5-man garrison to move in. Maybe that 3-man garrison as well. But we'll have to see. Is there an explosive trap on this position? I don't see one. Especially with the fortifications. I think Blue4 meant to hold this position to the end, but they're just so out of position right now that they don't have anyone to move on it. Meanwhile, that group of 5, 90 seconds started on that attack right there, so we should see Blue4 immediately trying to sprint back. Op4 have this massive group right here that can move in and assist. Those are flashing. That's kind of funny. Grenades thrown out to stop some of the Blue4 from moving back. Looks like Greg's going to try to rush back, realizing that that position is currently under hack. We have about a minute and 7 seconds left. We don't see this 3-man group reacting at all. They're on the top of a high-rise, so they're not going to be able to climb down in time. Op4 might have just won this. Looks like we see Greg trying to rally McPhil and Fran over. But all of these fortifications that Blue4 have made are going to now work against Blue4. As they're just holding with explosive... Oh my god, they're going to suicide this. Malin is an explosive expert. What are the odds he rigged the terminal, these explosives to go off right after the terminal gets hacked? "25 seconds remaining. First Blue4 guy immediately gets taken out. Grenade gets thrown in. These guys are screwed. And the explosives go off. It was Deadman switched. And at the 10-second marker, it is counter-hacked. They should have put an explosive on the outside too, but... Oh, funny plan. Defso and Kremet are now the 2 locals here. Op4 have entirety control of the industrial complex. Blue4 are down to, what is that? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players remaining. Op4 have a clear number advantage at this point. If Malin put an explosive satchel on the outside, too, to kill anyone that was on the outskirts, he would have won that, because 10 seconds wouldn't have given enough time for someone else to run in there. But I get what he was going for. If this was a normal building, it would have blown up the building, but the office building, it's immune, because it doesn't have a destroy texture. Blue4 now on the internal hold. This could probably get extended for another 10 to 20 minutes because now Op4 needs to rally their forces and attack this final position. However, it could just take one lucky element to get inside and kill everyone inside. And I mean, that's Defso right now. 4 kills. He's got a GP25 launcher. Can he make this on his own? Got Lolo, though, on 3 kills. Looting a bit of ammunition here. Defso gets his 5th kill, tries to go on Lolo, gets a few shots, misthrows a grenade, gets the double tap. Waits for the grenade to go off. He is on 6. Double tapping shots. Now the question is the timer going to start at 10 seconds or is it going to go back to 90? It goes back to 90. Greg gets taken out by Defso, and there's no other Blue4 in the area other than Aquasino or Dizinger. And I think this is GG. I don't think they're going to route up in time. Maybe Little Banks can run in over there. Maybe Mike can run in, but Deadpool and Maxic are staying on Overwatch. Now we're down to 65 seconds. I think this is GG. Great first round to open up on. Completely subverted Blue 4's defensive line and then just went right for the objectives. I think this was a textbook Friday Night Fight round in terms of one side misplayed a little bit on their defensive line. They left a gap. Op4 exploited that gap and then was right on top of where they needed to be. This was great. I don't think Bohemia is ever going to release a texture for a destroyed office building or a destroyed research building. Hold on. 25 seconds remaining. Mike could get in time. If Op4 isn't holding the zone, will Depso stop him? Depso stops him. And there's the double tapping shots. That puts Depso on 7. Now, no, 8. Depso definitely the kill leader there. Blue 4 down to only like 5 dudes. These guys haven't made a move at all. Little Banks, ironically, has been moving more than those two. But with... Yep, that's it. GG. I think that was a great first round. We'll see how the remaining rounds go. It's rare where we have a first round end just before 4 o'clock. Boom. And that's GG. Oh, God. Interesting. So this was the bigger explosion that they called out, and then all this stuff smoking, I think, was tied to the research. Now, let me explain what this is. That explosion was a trigger to hide the building and then unhide another building which was partially in the map to simulate a partially destroyed building. That was pretty cool. You can always fake it in Arma 3. There's so many ways to fake something in this game. Oh, man. That was nice, though. That was nice. All right, let's see how round 2 is. It looks like it is forming over now. It is going to be on Yulakita, and I will show you guys, if I can find it, where the that last week silly round was. But anyway, let's go ahead and get that prediction paid out. Blue 4 or Op 4? It was the Op 4 side that won. Awesome possum. Alright, let me go ahead. I'm going to switch the music up just so I don't lose my sanity. Let me go ahead and switch up the map commands. So this is now round 2 where Blue 4 is attacking an Op 4 sector and terminal site. Blue 4 has... Wow. Alright, a 5% numbers advantage, 2 MH6 Lil Birds, a Mark 5 SOCOM boat, and 2 LAV-25s, while Op 4 has 2 BTR-80As and 2 UAZ cars. Interesting. The map is going to be Lakia. And the music is now Bridge on the River. Alright, I'm thinking by the end of October I'll start running some of the custom ads again, as I'm also doing research to try to figure out how to rip all of Twitch's ads out of my channel. But there's been something I wanted to do for over a few years, and I think we'll finally have an opportunity to start opening that door again by the end of this month when I catch up on all the Arma 3 and all this other, you know, side stuff that I've been having to work on. But don't worry, I hydrated. Alright, overall, I think that round went really well. This one's going to be more of an autocannon fight, potentially with a bigger AO, so we'll just have to see how things go, but yeah, could go either way. I agree part-time, however, I've heard there's ways to use third-party systems to potentially deny the ads, so I'm going to dive down that rabbit hole to see how things go. Because I feel like I'd get a much bigger advantage if I just completely removed ads from the equation. Just trolling Dream in chat. But that's the point of experimentation. Really, the long-term plan of everything is, well, I guess the short-term to start is get all the ops I need done out of October. Start back up on some of the contracts I have outside of my own community, you know, Zeusing for a few other communities, get that all scheduled and sorted. And then work on importing some other content and being, you know, on the side. Also thinking of starting up a new YouTube channel, but, you know, tied to stuff that's completely outside of the video game sphere of things, like gardening or homebrew or, you know, stuff to do outside of your computer. Because that's what I've been doing to keep myself sane, because I usually have 60 to 80 hour work weeks. Because mission dev is a bitch, and when it's not mission dev, it's editing. And I don't even do that much editing, that's the sad part. Yeah, Monster Energy into a 7% IPA. I'm gonna be honest, I wouldn't use an energy drink to turn into alcohol, because that still leaves all of the other stuff in that Monster Energy drink, so if you chug a bunch of it, that's gonna screw you up. But all you have to do is pull up a website, like that's a simple calculator of, alright, if I put this much sugar in grams into something, what's the calculated ABV? And then if you want to put it up to a certain percentage, then you just calculate how much sugar is in Monster Energy drinks. And then if you want to make the ABV higher, then you just add more sugar. And then once the fermentation stops, you just cold crash or use like potassium sorbate or something else to stop the fermentation process, and then you can just rack it once or twice, keg it, and then you're good. Raise the pH to about 4. Yeah, you gotta, there's things that you have to do then to make sure that the yeast can grow in it, but that's fine. Oh, Axel, that's nice. I'm gonna be hosting one myself soon, but we'll see how things go. I know of the video as, yeah, I mean, you can turn any type of sugar into alcohol. That's what meat is. That's what cider is. That's what beer is. Beer, I think, is literally just you throw sugar in it, and then you just get the hop flavor. But, yeah, I'm more of a cider or a mead guy, personally. I like my sweets. But I'm gonna be honest, once you learn how to homebrew, you're gonna realize that, you can do it yourself for much cheaper. Same with whiskey, same with anything for that matter. Especially now that technology, you can get your own little distillery kit for like a few $100. Now, whether or not it's legal is entirely up to your state, but if you don't want to do that, all you need to do to distill stuff is literally get a copper pipe, get a container that you can put over a heat source to evaporate it, and then just run it down the copper pipe, and then you just need like a measuring device that can tell you the ABV, like a sensor of some sort. Whiskey and other hard alcohols are nice, it's just they take longer to age. Compared to like a mead, a cider, a wine, a beer, that for stuff that has less than 10% alcohol by volume, you only need to age a month before it's palatable. For mead or anything that's usually above 10%, then it takes at least 3. Yeah, righto, Az. Yeah, Boone knows what's up then. I know in Virginia, I think it's technically illegal for you to do your own distilling, but homebrew is fair game. Now, that being said, I would like to try it, but I also don't really have the space to make that type of setup. Plus, Bloodwind would probably get really pissed off if I blew the backyard up, but you know, that's part of the fun. Not gonna lie though, if I were to distill something, it would probably be something simple like vodka. To be able to just make my own out of potatoes, which I then grow in buckets in my backyard too, and then I can also use that vodka as a basis for pretty much anything, you know? I also have a shit ton of rye berries left over from when I was doing mushroom farming stuff. I can also turn that into grain alcohol. Add some sugar and then just, you know, get it up to the maximum yeast tolerance of... I'd probably just use a champagne yeast at that point. F it. Make it taste champagne-y. Why not? Yeah, Boone, you're exactly right. Leave the shroom juice distillery. Look, all I'm saying is, if psychobilin were to ever become legal in the United States, I have a business plan. And I could promise you some really good returns on that business plan should you invest, because all I would need is... I mean, depending on how much permits and shit would cost, but for property and stuff like in the middle of rural Virginia, I would only need like 400,000. But that's a story for another time, and that's also dependent on, you know, if the costs don't go up or down, which, I mean, for our generation, they freaking will, but we'll see. We'll see. So anyway, it looks like we're running the AO off of Snake Island for Blue 4 spawn. Op 4 are going to be in the zone that we used for the ODST campaign, so I'm a bit familiar with this central town of Marlov, but otherwise we have a single terminal site in the church area, and then the sector is in a few buildings on the outside. Oh, I agree, yeah, simple sugar wash, just to get to a maximum alcohol by volume. I'm going to be honest... with, like a simple, like even a bread yeast, you could make something with alcohol, let the fermentation finish, then rack it once or twice to get rid of all the yeast, and then purify it. And then from there, you can do whatever you want with that, you know? How do I pronounce heat? H-E-A-T, heat. I just pronounce it the way it's spelled. But that's just me. Alright, slightly in the night, we'll go ahead and cover this scenario, and then we'll get back to talking whatever we want to talk about. Blue 4, otherwise, we have those two MH6 little birds over here, the two LAV-25s. Wow, they're going to make them... I disagree with that. I feel like Blue 4 needed a little spawn up front, because these LAV-25s are going to take at least 5 to 10 minutes to get on the shore. That's a bit annoying to delay the op like that. I get putting the Mark V boat back here, but no, the LAV should have been on the mainland. That would have saved more time. Oh, well. And then, of course, unless they have an Echo team... Okay, they do, but even then, do you want to really fight two BTR-80 Alphas with an Echo team exclusively? Maybe, maybe not. It would depend on the commander. Otherwise, let's go ahead and actually cover the tasks of this operation. So Blue 4 have to attack a sector and attack a terminal. Let me go ahead and put a prediction up. I see you guys typing in chat about it. My apologies. Alright, get that up for 15 minutes. Alright, and otherwise Op4 have to hold that sector and terminal site briefing for this mission. It is a 2-kilometer render distance, 100 fortify points for the defenders. Fortify color is going to be green, and it's your standard 15 minutes and then 50-minute round. Note, hidden spawns for both sides. It takes 3 minutes to capture the zone, and it takes 2.5 minutes to take the terminal objective after it's activated. Interesting. Otherwise, nothing on special logs here. Blue 4 loadout's going to be Marine Woodland kits. 2 LAV-25s with, okay, I misread that number for a second. I was about to say 25 by a 70. No, that's not it. So, autocannon only has 70 rounds, and then a 1,200 round M240 coax weapon. Otherwise, Mark 5 SOCOM boat has multiple 12.7s, and a single 7.62. So they just removed the GMG on the rear. It's an empty slot, as you can see right there, no ammo tied to it. And then the MH6 Little Birds for quickly deploying their forces, and then they've got some chaff with it and everything. Otherwise, Op4. Actually, I forgot to go over kits for Blue 4. So Marine Woodlands, we got the basically an M4 platform, Mark 211 marksman rifle, M249 light machine gun, AT4s for the light anti-tank, single-shot disposable weapon there. The GL is going to be a 320 system for their M4 platforms for the team leads. The M3 Maz for the medium anti-tank gun in Echo, and then MP7s for anyone in the crew. Op4, meanwhile, it looks like it's Russian Ratnik kits, so AK-74s, some with GP-25s. They also have NPZ railings if they want to get Western optics on them. SVDs for the marksman rifle, RPG-7s for the light anti-tank with 2 RPG warheads, RPKs with 45-round magazines for the light machine gunners. Medium machine gunners got the PKP. The Echo medium anti-tank weapon is going to be an RPG-32, and then the PP-2000 for the crew. Taking a sip of water. Otherwise, UAZs, only 2 to transport some forces around, and then 2 BTR-80 Alphas with 150 rounds for the autocannon. PKT has 2,000 rounds, and then they also have a smoke generator if it is needed. Alright, otherwise looking at our factions here, Vagrant's going to be commanding Blue 4, Mike is going to be his medic, NASA leading Alpha with Depso, Max Simmons, Horno, Ismail, Kremitz, Cheeseburger, and Massimo. Bravo 1 has Atomic Aiden, Bravo 2 has Danziger with Newwood Sun and Aquasio and Neil. Charlie has Gates leading with Fairchild as his marksman. Michael, Marsick, Francis Harrington with Charlie 1, Charlie 2 has George, Tom's T, and Nakamata. Echo has Fawns leading with Henry as the medium anti-tank gunner, Salt and Sancho being the assistant, so that team has 6 rockets total. Golf has Banks, Kabubi Face, and Little Banks. For Golf 1, Golf 2 has Bates and Wheaton, and then Hotel is Goose, with Hotel 2 being Oddball. These are the 2 dedicated pilots, and then Golf are the dedicated vehicle crews. They're going to have quite a drive to go on. Otherwise, Eric Kiru leading Op4 with Curie leading Alpha with Seismo as the marksman. Alpha 1 has Korvac and McVeigh together. Arkin leading Alpha 2 with Doggo, McPhil, Ring, and Fran. Bravo being led by Swallow with Major Khan as the marksman and Greg as the medic. Gazog 1 already in the BTR-80 Alpha with Tackleberry, Waldo, and Ash all together in Bravo 1. Delta has Dobbs leading with Batty as one of the medium machine gunners with Puma as the medic, and then Dream and Nemesis being the medium machine gunners in Delta 1. They'll probably merge with the actual group. Echo being led by Katz with Iander, the King of AT, as the RPG-32 gunner. Cullis and Wayne under him, so that team has 6 rockets total. Flying Finn has also joined them as the 4th Delta medium machine gunner. Then Maxic, Deadpool, and Wictorx, being the first BTR-80 Alpha crew. The second one is Chris and Lolo. Posture check. Wow. Otherwise, objectives themselves, we have the terminal site in here. And looks like they've already been fortifying a bit of this low polygon church building. They've also put an explosive trap on the terminal. That is smart. Got some nice statues around it. And then the sector is this collection of buildings up here. So a little school building, that internal building with the garage, and then this building I'm not sure if we can get on the second story of. We cannot. It just has the 2 rooms on the left and right respectively. And a little bit of a perimeter wall for that far building. And then we also have this building right here, which appears to be enterable. All right. Op4 don't know where Blue 4 is spawning, so Blue 4 could literally be spawning from anywhere because they have the boat and whatnot. So they're going to have to basically just kind of fan their forces around and try to figure out where Blue 4 is coming from, but they should be able to get that for them. Otherwise, this is just going to be a long round. There's going to be at least another 10 minutes of Blue 4 deploying and then Op 4 fanning around and trying to do whatnot. Boone, you can shoot it to me in DM, buddy. Turbo used ferments in 48 hours and get up to 20%. Nice. Tastes like crap, though, but fun just for pure ethanol once distilled twice. Fair enough. So, hell, I've got my book. The main yeast strands I've been using has been D47, EC1108, and Mangrove Jack's MO2 for some ciders. But D47 is a 15% alcohol by volume, and EC1118 is 18. I will admit, though, I've been mainly using D47 because 1118 is better for sparkling stuff, but I've kind of moved past that because a lot of people that I, drink with, they don't like the sparkling. But I've got a bunch of other strains that I'm going to be trying out as well, between 14 and 18%. Some do different stuff depending on how things go, but yeah. I think the only liqueur I've been doing recently is elderflower, and that's been more of a, I forget the term, but it's where you basically steep the alcohol in it, but if I were to ever distill my own stuff, it would definitely be that. But yeah, a little about my own little operation there. But it's fun because you can buy like a 25 bag of sugar from Costco for only like, I think 11 or 20 bucks. Either way, it's very cheap. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, Costco sugar is the GOAT. I also do Costco honey too, because it's like 5 pounds of honey for 13 bucks even. Not including tax, but, you know. That means for a 5-gallon batch of mead, I only need like 3 of those. Just really, really cheap. Yeah, exactly. Oh, and then if I ever want to do ciders, they've got some good brands. I also made a mango mead recently, and they had like a whole gallon of a mango blend, which was mostly concentrate, but in only like 20% juice. But you know, it tastes like mango still. So making something out of that. If you shoot me a message on Discord, I can shoot you the pictures of that. It just, there's a lot of yeast in it. I can already see it forming on the bottom. Alright, now we're just going to be playing a waiting game, basically. Blue 4, they seem adamant on using their LAVs, which, They might see if they can load one onto the boat. That's not going to be the case. Maybe they'll take the boat in as well, but looks like a majority of them might try to fly in via the MH6 Little Birds, but this on its own is going to really segment Blue 4. So if Blue 4 doesn't coordinate their attack properly, they're just going to be defeated in detail. But if Blue 4 are able to actually coordinate proper, then they can form a proper attack wave, and as Op 4 is looking around trying to find them, Blue 4 could then very easily defeat Op 4 in detail. So this could go either way, in all honesty. Yeah, forgettable. You missed round 1. Round 1 was pretty efficient, pretty quick, pretty nice. It was a nice, simple outflank and then a, hit on the rear. This one, it could go anywhere. It just depends how coordinated Blue 4 is, specifically Vagrant's commanding. Though Vagrant's usually very organized, so I don't think he'll let that happen. Arakiru, I think, is going to be aggressive on trying to figure out where Blue 4 is attacking from. But once he figures it out, he should be able to rally. But I wouldn't say he's as effective as Vagrant in terms of that rallying. Yeah, righto, Boone. Alright, let me hit this button so I can do that. and then that is the mango right now. You can see the yeast on the bottom. That's been fermenting for about 2 weeks. That I just started the other day. Bloodwing wanted something called a bee sting, which at the local Maryland Renaissance Festival, that is a mixture of 3/4 apple cider and 1/4 honey. So to do a little bit of experimentation, I basically just divided that amongst the sugars in that mixture for 8% of an ABV. So 2% of that alcohol is going to come from honey, and then the 6 is going to come from apple juice and a little bit of added sugar. I have the mathematical ratios in my journal about that. Once that's finished fermenting and I rack it once or twice, then I'm going to back-end sweeten it with the same ratio of 3/4 sugar, 1/4 honey. But that's going to take a while. And then I want to show you the full setup. I'm just looking for a picture of it. There it is. But yeah, the yeast they went crazy in there. I only put like 1/4 of a little packet, and I put a teaspoon of yeast nutrient, and it just went nuts in there. But that mango mead, the reason why there's so much yeast too is that's going to ferment to about, I think, 15% ABV. And right out, Boone. Making prison swill from the giggles with bread yeast. Hooch is fun to make if you're trying to get drunk, but there's ways that you can really add flavor to it. Just depends on, I want to say, a combination of what you start off with. I would definitely avoid anything bitter, though, in the opening fermentation, because the alcohol creation process really does kind of accent those flavors. Definitely avoid any peels in that process, too. Only flavor after the fermentation process with that. Yeah, Boone. So I started with those 2 5-gallon plastic ones, and then I saw on Facebook Marketplace that someone was getting rid of like 2 6.5-gallon glass ones, but only for like $30 a piece, which was a steal. Because MSRP for those is like double.
Let's give them a warm welcome.
I think nowadays it might even be triple, just because I know there was a glass shortage during COVID, but... and then... The 1 gallons are funny because I bought a 16 case from Amazon for only like $100, and when they sent it, I was missing a bag of caps, so I was missing 4 caps out of them. So I asked Amazon, hey, can you send me a bag of caps? And they just sent me another 16 glass bottles. One of them was broken, but that one had all the caps, so I was still at the end of the day missing 3 caps, so I just got, 3 fermenters and, not fermenters, 3 airlocks, and I just turned those into, single gallon batches instead. Amazon's really funny, okay? I just asked for one thing, and they're like, nope, you get the entire order again. I'm like, alright. That's fine. I don't care. I find it not to fit the needs when putting it in a still, though. Yeah, no, if you're gonna do like a full still and a distillery, then I would definitely make some changes on that. But in Virginia, where I live, you're technically not supposed to distill your own stuff, and I don't really have the space to do it either. All right, safe zone dropped. We're going to just have another 10 minutes of Blue 4 is going to basically move these vehicles over about 1 kilometer to 1.5 kilometers of water. Blue 4 is going to deploy 2 helicopters worth of dudes, and we already have some staying back, which means that these helicopters are full, and then the boat's going to drive around and potentially just, tech things out. Keyword, Liru, technically. I mean... yeah... I mean, technically, in Virginia, you can grow 4 marijuana plants legally, but it's still illegal on the federal level. Technically, there's a lot of technically, Boone. Technically... Look, just live your life, enjoy it, have fun. Whatever you do in your own house, as long as you don't give the local authorities reason to search it, you can do whatever you want. I know, Boone, the issue is I live in an end unit townhouse, so I do share a wall with somebody, and, if they're not cool with me and they see that, then technically I could be in a lot of trouble. So yeah, we see Op4 fanning out. They're literally trying to find where Blue 4's spawn was. Blue 4 deploying the helicopters out here to dismount all of those forces. They're going to then come back and pick more people up. The SOCOM boat is driving out and about. That could be autocannon bait, and then the LAVs, they're only 20% of their journey, if not slightly less, from getting to the shore. So maybe Op4 will come up here and find an angle on Blue 4, but I doubt it. Look, all I'm saying also for glass bottles, you can go onto Alibaba, make an account, and you can get directly connected with Chinese or Indian suppliers that'll sell you resealable bottles for like, 30 to 50 cents a piece. What'll kill you is the shipping. But, if you ever wanted to do, not large, not small, but, a medium volume to make you a few $100 a month, that would be the way to do it. So it looks like we got guys dismounting on the boat over here. I think they're going to get on these statics here and try to see what they can do. Don't know why he's grabbing the Mark 19 because that has no ammo for it. It's all been taken away, but the 134 and the 250 cals are fair game. Two little bridge do a close pass, one of them ferrying the remaining two people over. And then I'd assume either one or two things is going to happen. Those little birds are either going to stay separated and just fly over and do reconnaissance, or they're going to get into a single little bird so the pilot for one can become a co-pilot for the other and operate the little camera underneath. And to verify that, headphone. Yeah, you can see a little camera right there, so that's only accessible for the co-pilot, but now what I'm thinking is going to happen, these guys are now at the halfway point. Not 3.5 minutes, so actually going a little quicker than I thought they would, but I imagine they're probably going to mount up in those LAVs and then just push forward. Op4, meanwhile, super fanned out because they have no idea where Blue 4 is going to come in from. Yeah, I would agree with something like that. Drive the boat far up north, see if you can sight any Op4, and then shoot them from that angle to make them think you're coming up there. That would then pull a lot of Op4's attention to the north, making them think that there's a force going there. If you really wanted to sell it, take a 4-man team, put them up north on one of these hilltops, so either at point 48 or maybe at the depot, and then just engage from afar and really fake Op4 out. That would be one way to do it, but I think Blue 4 is going to play this over cautiously because we only have about 65 people on the server right now. Still, not a bad idea, Devil. Why don't you come on for round 3 and do a command roll with that big brain of yours? So we saw Goose dismount temporarily. I wonder if they're going to reconvene. But yeah, no, these guys are literally just holding for those two LAVs to come in. I'm gonna be honest, those LAVs should have been put on the mainland. Because we're seeing the example of why we're just kind of waiting for them to get themselves sorted. You know, Boone, what this might actually be useful for is I do also like to, I like to make my own version of Saint Germain, which is a 20% alcohol by volume of, Elderflower liqueur. These fermentating up to 20% would be good. I would lose a bit of that ABV, though, with added sugars. But that ain't bad. I could definitely make a 15% one with that, and it would taste just as good. Yeah, this ain't bad at all. Well, I appreciate it, man. It's not good tasting. Yeah, I know, but you would then... The point is you would then distill it. Or not distill it, you would... Oh my god, what's the opposite of distill? You'd water it down, sous vide it with some elderflower, and then you would just add a bunch of sugar. And then you would make almost like a syrup consistency with it. Yeah, exactly. I didn't read the second half of what you said, but yeah, no, exactly. Plus, there is something I really do like to make called Stoli Doli. You take a bunch of vodka, you put it in a container. Actually, no, not before the vodka. You put a pineapple, chop it all up, put it in a container in these big rough chunks. You put a bunch of vodka or another alcohol in it. And it'll take all the yuckiness out of that alcohol. And, yeah, you can even add some sweetness to it, too, but then you'll have a sweet pineapple-esque drink. It's quite good. Yes, this is round 2. We're just kind of waiting on Blue 4 to deploy. Op 4 might finally find him. This is really unlucky. Oh, my God. No way. No, it's going to be short. Alright, the fact that he can make that, that was a 1,161 meter shot, and he got it literally within a freaking meter. Eander scares the shit out of me. Eander's hit longer range shots than that, by the way. Yeah, of course it was Eander. Who else would it be? The man's an AT god. Yeah, his record is 1,425 meters on a static target. Here at UAZ coming up, he's going to be focusing on hitting these vehicles now. Blue 4, funny enough, are redeploying a good chunk of their infantry, and they're going to potentially go in from another angle. That's an interesting call. So they have Vector 21s. What they do is Cullis will give them a range. The thing about the RPG-32, though, is you can only range it up to 500 meters, so everything beyond that, you're just kind of guessing. So the fact that he has almost gotten triple the range, because he always does it with an RPG-32 as well, because unlike the Maz, the RPG-32, for whatever reason, it's more accurate if you just basically measure out this distance and then just, you know, rock it down your keyboard. This number right here is constant. But for the Maz, if you want to take it over 1,000 meters, it's unpredictable. And this is according to Eander. But he's thinking about hitting the boat. He's thinking about it. No, he's accurately measuring it. I don't think anyone in the world has the skills to yeet something and hit most of the time. I eat stuff all the time, but I don't really hit him often. Oh, there he goes. Misses. If he was aiming for the center of the boat, though, it would have hit. But now that boat's going to freak out and fly out. He's been on target for both of those hits. It's just he hasn't been able to properly get into the driver's head and guesstimate their speed and range. Meanwhile, you have this. That is funny. One gun looking one way, a gun looking the other way. That is absolutely funny. Welcome to PvP. You're right, maybe Iander is not drunk enough to make his shots. Got the LAV right there looking around. Oh, this is an easy shot for Iander. That's only 270 meters. Clear that man's back blast, T-Wayne. Looks like they're giving him another rocket. And T-Wayne just ate a full thing of back blast. And there goes the LAV. And someone gets killed. That was Katz. Iander also dies. Ironically, the other Echo team is up here. Iander, great at killing vehicles, not great at dodging bullets. Double tap shots from Cullis to finish off the crew that dismounted. How about that? No words, only bang. Now you got this BTR trying to shoot at the boat. Not drunk enough to dodge bullets yet, I guess. Still within the render range of the vehicle, but now it's just coming around. Meanwhile, Little Birds are flying off to the western side. I think they're going to try to deploy infantry a bit closer. We have an infantry group still in this vehicle waiting around. They're deploying their infantry about a little under 2 clicks out. Helicopters, meanwhile, have the entirety of Alpha and Charlie, except for Patriot, who is tied to this vehicle right here. That is the cook-off sound of the vehicle. And Echo is continuing to move on. Cullis, I think, is checking the AT to see if he can take it. I think they still have 3 rockets remaining, because they fired 3. But yeah, helicopters are doing a holding pattern. Maybe they're trying to bait Op4 to send everything down south, and they can deploy on the northern side and get right on top of those objectives. I agree with that call. Try to bait your opponent out, and then just come in and hit them. But yeah, this is going to be a long round. Still hearing that vehicle cooking off in the distance. Blue 4 sending forces down to try to check on these bodies. Maybe they want to try to loot that AT. It's free real estate. Yeah, vehicle dismounted, now is driving up on its own, whereas the infantry complement are out going a different route. That's kind of a silly call. Like, why doesn't the vehicle just stick around and support the infantry instead of just blitzing out on its own, especially when there's 2 enemy autocannon vehicles to hunt for, and your assistant vehicle got taken out? Oh, that's my bad. I'm trying to apply logic to Friday Night Fights. That never reacts well. Looks like Blue 4, they're pulling away, thinking they got everybody, don't want to spend time getting the bodies, and instead want to just move in. At this angle, though, that 80 Alpha is under a big threat, so is this other one, because Echo is within a range to potentially hit either vehicle, especially if they drive up nearby. But yeah, little birds are just maintaining a holding pattern. This will be a 785 meter shot, but that BTR is on the move. Right? I've been commentating PvP for 5 years, and some calls people make still baffle me. Is he gonna guess behind the tree? He guesses and lands just behind. That was a great shot. What that 18 failed to account for was the elevation difference that affects the range. That one they rushed without ranging where the vehicle was going. Very close, don't get me wrong, but, you know, close doesn't mean you win. They're down to 4 rockets now, but they've alerted these 2 guys, and Cullis might be looking for revenge. An opening grenade here could get 1 or 2 kills, and then just follow it with some rifles. Before deploying the little birds, Op4 is going to hear that and start moving over to him. Major Khan has an SVD. He starts opening up. No kills, but that gunfire is loud, and that could attract attention. A bunch of Op4 at the other side of the island, though. Cullis moving up. Little Bird took damage. As he spots Cullis, they get into a 1v1. Cullis gets knocked to his legs. 80 Alpha now firing on the rear. Great grenade throw, but Henry's gonna push. Wow. Little Birds are now running interference. We could very well see that Blue 4 spearheads, hits the objective, and then gets to the terminal site as Op4 desperately trying to pull all their forces back. One Little Bird ends up strafing into the ground. I believe that one was user error. I don't think he was being engaged at all. We heard an impact sound. Maybe he lost his tail rotor and was unable to land it. The terrain is Eulakia. That is the latest one from Icebreaker, who's been doing terrain dev since, I want to say, Arma 2. One of the gods at what he does, that's for damn sure.
So, let's give him a warm belt.
Like Web Knight at, you know, making custom units and scripted stuff. Icebreaker, you know, makes his own terrains. The previous one from this one was Fapovo Island, and then, you know, Panthera, Isla Bramia, Isla Duala, that's all his work. Yeah, so they stole the RPG off of, I think, Cullis, and now they're trying to line up a shot on that vehicle. Meanwhile, looking back over here, the other Little Bird, I think, went down. So Blue 4 have lost both Little Birds. That one, though, has stalled this force over here. And it looks like a BTR-80 Alpha just got engaged and destroyed by the long-range fire from the Echo team. So the only other AD Alpha is way out of the map. Command and the boat back here. Blue 4 making a push to the sector position over here as well. I'd say Blue 4 in a really good spot to win this one so far, but Op 4 might be able to turn around with their forces coming back. Boat's going to come in and directly join in on the fight. Looks like T-Wayne just got spotted and killed by this Blue 4 group of 5 now. Otherwise, main fight is now going to be for the sites themselves. A lot of grenades going into the sector. Op 4 pushing in. They have the number advantage. It's starting to tick, but they need to keep the numbers inside. Liru manages to get a kill from the high-rise area there. And you've got some suppressive fire coming out from the boat. Not sure if there was someone back here that they actually managed to kill or if they're just trying to harass. So you got to remember, based off of the mission details here, that the capture zone is 3 minutes and the terminal's 2.5. So this is going to be a 180-second timer. McBain gets knocked out. We have 2 Blue 4 bodies over here. McBain, I think, was able to get one. We'll see if he wakes up from that, though, but there's only 1 remaining Op 4 guy in there, whereas there's 3 Blue 4 in here, so Blue 4 should try to send reinforcements. However, their north is under threat here from that Op 4 squad coming in. Numbers-wise, I'm a little worried about Blue 4. We do have Op 4 kind of maneuvering around. They're checking this smoke area here. We got another 4-man team on that area here, but Patriot trying to do some medical. And McBain... Major Com manages to mag dump him with that SVD. Very rare to see an SVD actually be effective there. McBain over here, meanwhile, gets double tapped by Lolo Intel. We still have about a little over 90 seconds. Ash could get into assist. We need to see more Blue 4 potentially push into this zone. But I get why they want to stay in the forested area here. Liru, RPG goes off on this building from the outside. Looks like he was doing medical. Michael now trying to keep him pinned in that corner. 90 seconds away. Oh, but Liru tries to run out, and he immediately gets gunned down by Michael. Great shooting there. And Blue 4 have converged more forces into here. We see another Op 4 guy get picked off as he's running between the buildings. But Op 4 have a full squad on their northern side, and Blue 4 haven't noticed it. However, shots rain out. Cheeseburger might be able to rally that. He does. He turns around. He sees all this Op 4 moving around. He does have AT. Looks like he's not going to opt to nuke tube. Instead, he is trying to do a blind spray here as he sticks the cover. Takes a shot. That knocks him on his ass. And Blue 4 turning around, trying to now deal with this larger group here. But they are outnumbered. Depso ran up to try to assist. He had 8 kills in the last round. He does have a mark 11. So he does have a scope that can help him get some close headshots. Here's Zamil, meanwhile, trying to push on Carey and Korvac. He's going to lay low into the tree. Sector is about 30 seconds away from being capped. Korvac going to move up. Zamil going to get the rear hit on him. Kills Carey. Spots Korvac, sends Korvac into orbit. And he crashes back down. Great work by Zamil, stopping 2 Op 4 members from moving in from the north. We have Blue 4 guys now trying to bypass the head to that terminal site. We have about 15 seconds, I'd say 10 seconds even, left on that site. But Blue 4 doing a great job of holding that, and there goes the sector. Now, only thing that's needed for this round is the terminal. And we have that LAV starting to form up into this zone. Meanwhile, Echo's run up. The BTR-80 Alpha is staying on Overwatch up here. Not much is going to be able to do from this angle. I think that 80 Alpha is going to be out of the play unless it moves in. But if it tries to, Echo has both medium anti-tank weapons. If they hear it, they will immediately try to snipe it. We still have some fighting over here. Depso manages to get a kill with that marksman rifle. Grenade is very accurately thrown up to him. Depso pulls away, though. That little shrub eats up that shrapnel. Max starts firing at Ring. Depso gets knocked to his feet. Another grenade gets thrown in. We have some flanking shots by Zamil there. And now you hear that LAV coming in. Meanwhile, on the terminal, we have NASA pushing the site itself. Tackleberry holding. Blue 4 pushing Gazog's building. That's Cheeseburger and Horno, going up to his building. NASA trying to move in, trying to find the entryway into this building, but can't seem to, as Tackleberry is just holding the corner. Cheeseburger comes in, breaches the building, gets the Op 4 kill there. Blue 4 still flanking around here, trying to find where that Op 4 element is. The LAV is pushing in as well. NASA gets Tackleberry as Swola is trying to run in. NASA's going to interact with that terminal. At least I thought he did. I don't see it open though, so he might not have. He's trying to avoid the explosive trap on it. And NASA instead gets knocked out by Swola. Op 4 on the back line right here trying to move in. Blue 4 have more infantry moving in from the south. This is looking more and more like a Blue 4 victory. We still have 24 minutes left on the clock. I don't see Op 4 being able to push in and rally around that terminal site as Swola gets picked off by Horno and double tap. Now that terminal has no one in the way. Seismo, ironically, is firing at the Op 4 members still in this area here. We have a dead guy right there. I don't know if Seismo got that kill. I don't see a -1 on his body. It's just Alexander alone. Alexander tries to noob tube Zamil, but Zamil avoids. Takes damage from that second one, though. We see a good splotch of blood there. Now it looks like Horno and Cheeseburger are trying to hold the additional Op 4 forces from potentially re-garrisoning that zone. We hear autocannon shots going out. That could be the BTR-80 Alpha trying to pick off from range the LAV-25. But it looks like the entire northern group is now down. We got some additional Op 4 coming in from the western side. The Blue 4 don't seem to want to run a guy up here. Green taking autocannon fire. I don't see any AT on these guys. This is Delta. They're the medium machine gunners. They don't have any way to deal with this LAV-25 unless they find a body with AT on it. Oh. Little lag spike there. So LAV-25 trying to drive around to find an angle on whatever Op 4 they can. They don't want to stay static for too long, otherwise they could get picked off by AT. And they don't know that that is Delta that has no AT. Grenade launched around, coming in, trying to get Nekomata. It's a bit short. Blue 4 trying to sweep that force to make sure they got everybody. This has created a gap for Op 4 to potentially move back and take the terminal site, but we do have a good chunk of Blue 4 reinforcements. So that 4-man team that was dismounted early in the mission, like a click and a half back, are now on par with the Echo team to now assault this final site. At this rate, this round could end to bodies before the 2.5-minute timer of that terminal expires. I think Blue 4 certainly have the number advantage right now as we see Cheeseburger get knocked out. Will Seismo double tap? He does, but Horno's going to come around. There's a confusion there as all of them get knocked out. Horno knocks out Seismo. Batty also fired at Seismo in confusion and then gets a few shots on Horno. A 3-way knockout. And Batty wins the wake-up war. And double taps Horno. Wow. Now you got the 80 Alpha coming right into Echo. Echo has the medium anti-tank though. And it looks like they spotted Blue 4 into that building, so they're immediately trying to suppress. AT goes in. That hit short of the vehicle. Now they're backing away. But you got the LAV-25 coming around. It's got AP ammo. Amaz hits them. And they still miss. Just to make sure. Chris wakes back up. He's on fire, though. And he's unconscious again. And another round just to make sure. A lot of just to make sure's there. GL goes in, immediately knocking Sultan T out. That was done by Dobbs. He puts another round out, immediately noob tubes Henry, and most of Echo is taken out. Good shots by Dobbs. Now the question is, can Blue 4 rally and take this terminal? But Op 4 now has the defensive advantage. Sancho also knocked out. T gets double tapped. Nemesis trying to throw a grenade up here. A long grenade throw. Amazingly enough, he actually gets it in between the bodies too. Nemesis double tapping shots. Great throw timed with some shots. That's exactly what you want. Banks now coming around. Might be able to find Nemesis. Fawn's up here with the RPG. He's looking to noob tube somebody. Dobbs, though, under here. He might be that somebody. Grenades being thrown in. Noob tube goes in. That kills Flying Fin, who just entered the building. And then he is immediately taken out by Dobbs on the rear. Op 4 down to 5. Nope, 7. 2 on the outskirts as well. Blue 4 down to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 7 to 11. Op 4 could still turn this around. 19 minutes left on the clock. We have some heavy hitters on Op 4, though. Puma. I can't tell if he just got that kill or not. Sancho gets taken out, I think, by Nemesis as he attempts to run in. Massive explosive trap just went off by SL Dream, and he managed to disable the last LAV. Or those were AT mines, but Dream goes up, he double taps Little Banks. As Banks is still alive, Dream avoids an explosion. Looks like he doesn't take that much damage from it. Nekomata, though, knocks Dream out. Wow. Op 4. The count now is 6 to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blue 4. Still anyone's game. I know Dream actually did good. I think those were just AT mines, though. I don't think those were necessarily his. Seismo going to corner camp. He does have a stolen AT4. He's going to use it on that LAV, but now there's no need. He does hear those footsteps all around him. Might spot George here. Oh, if Seismo knew he could throw a grenade down here and get him, we got people picking up dead bodies. Because people are unaware that the new Ace update now, you can pick up and carry dead bodies now. The meta is if the guns don't follow them after you drag them, then you know that they're actually dead. Oh, Seismo, you might see him. Not sure if he has a grenade, but this would... Yes! Yes, Seismo! Oh my god, brilliant play. He gets both of them with that grenade! He saw the top of them and he got them both with it! Brilliant. He runs in. He's going to see these dead bodies. Oh, beautiful play right there. I think now Op 4 have the number advantage. Seismo comes around, gets George knocked out, and double tapped. Blue 4 down to 5. Op 4 now at 6. Fairchild trying to find an angle on Seismo. Will he get the shot? He doesn't line up the shot in time. Seismo hears those shots, though. He might try to rank around. He's on 6 kills. Will he get number 7? Fairchild trying to look through the glass to find an angle on Seismo. Seismo pulls away, not realizing that he is actually doing a great job of avoiding that fire. Op 4 just lost a guy. They're down to 5 now, 4v5. In Op 4's favor. Shots going out. And a GL just came in here, killing another Blue 4 member. Blue 4 down to 3. I can't tell if that was a friendly grenade launch or if that was... oh, it might have been Puma. No, Puma doesn't have a GL. Might have been Waldo. Grenade goes in. Wow. That was a prone fight, but now we just have Nail and Fairchild still alive. It is 2 to 4 in Op 4's favor. An amazing reversal by Op 4. This is down to the wire. Still anyone's game, but damn. $15-minute call. Puma finds him and gets the kill. Fairchild's the last player left. Can Fairchild channel his inner Adriano and win the match? Yes, I just caster cursed him. Crawling through the pipe. It's a 4v1. Puts a few shots on Dobbs. Dobbs evades. Fairchild immediately pulls back. And then vaults back over. Throws a long grenade. It's a smoke. Dobbs coming around. And headshots Fairchild, and that's GG. A very nice Op 4 victory through all of that. Damn. That was pretty good. I'm going to see what's on round 3 here and then decide whether or not I want to cover it, mainly because I haven't eaten anything all day. And I should probably eat something. Yeah, that one alleyway was literally stacked with bodies because there were multiple firefights for that one little strip. And hey, sometimes that's how it happens in urban combat PvP especially. Let's see what they pull up. Yeah, someone even saying that grenade was very satisfying. I agree. All right, come on. What do we got? Well, clearly they're taking their time. God damn. Alright, I'm gonna go with my stomach here. Alright, I can't help it. We'll be back later tonight for some mission dev. Probably, if I were to give you an estimate, I would probably say 5 to 7 hours, in all honesty. I'm gonna spend the next few hours just working on some smaller tasks and some admin work. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Go operate operationally. Yes, I will pay it out. Otherwise, cheers guys, have a good one, and go operate operationally. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. It was Op 4, right? Why am I blanking on this? Yes.